What's up, Thrashers, and welcome back once again to the Thrash Maniac 99 YouTube channel, and I am back with yet another album review, and today I am talking about probably the biggest release that came out on March 14th, Pi Day, mind you, and I am talking about the latest offering from California thrash titans Warbringer, Wrath and Ruin. Like I said, this came out on March 14th, this time on Napalm Records, and this is the band's 7th studio full-length overall. Now, full disclosure, I've only listened to songs from Warbringer, never a full album, even though I have quite a few albums, just haven't gotten around to listening to them in full. But I am a fan of the band from what I've heard. They are some high-energy, insane, vicious thrash, part of that thrash revival of the mid to late 2000s with bands like Levi, Havoc, Municipal Waste, among many other bands out of that era. However, it seems like out of those bands, Warbringer seems to be the big one that has stayed the course and not done like drastic sound changes, like in the case of Evil's last album or like Havoc's last couple of albums, or even Municipal Waste just kind of sticking to the crossover vibes. But Warbringer pretty much stays true to the thrash sound from what I've heard, but also incorporating other aspects of metal within their thrash sound. So we kick things off with the sword and the cross, and immediately you get like this big dive bomb and somber melodies that almost remind me a lot of Creator, like more modern Creator, like, you know, Hordes of Chaos, Phantom Antichrist, Gods of Violence, like that kind of Creator sound. And then it goes into this big machine gun galloping riff, and I love how the drums build up. Like, Carlos Cruz is a hell of a drummer. Of course, he was on the last Nails album, so he obviously knows how to play the kit. And then you get like these cool, like, tremolo melodic tags that show up, and then of course you get down and dirty down into the thrash. You get some like cool like tremolo riffs that feel a little more thrash forward, like German thrash forward. And then you get like insane double bass fury, mid-tempo section where it slows things down. But of course, I gotta talk about this. As a whole, this entire album, in terms of the lead work, absolutely phenomenal. Like, shredding leads, melodic leads, harmonized solos, and lead trade-offs. The guitar work on this album is absolutely incredible, like when it comes down to the lead work. Like, I pretty much wrote on every single song, awesome shred, awesome lead, harmonies, twin leads, trade-offs, etc., etc., etc. It's like every single song has an amazing lead section or lead sections. So, yeah, it definitely really amps up the intensity on the album with how great these solos really get. Then you get into tracks like A Better World and The Jackhammer, where you get like, yeah, they're thrash, but they're even faster. Like in the case of A Better World, the riffs and the drum patterns kind of remind me more of Sodom a little bit. But of course you get those like Creator melodic tags, especially in the chorus, and even some like groove sections with tremolo riffs on top. And blast beats, like you get blast beats on a good amount of songs on here, like on A Better World. Also, I would say Cage of Air, Neuromancer as well, and even the closer, The Last of My Kind, all have some really cool blast beat patterns going on. Like in Neuromancer in particular, it's got more of like a stop and go blast at the very end. But speaking of Neuromancer, cool bass line to open up the track, and then it goes into pretty much like death metal territory with the chugs, the groove, and the tremolo riffs. It even turns into like a lumbering groove song, and then the lead section is where it gets the most thrashy, and of course shred, harmony, trade-offs, all of that. Darker melodies even pop up as well. Now the Jackhammer, going back to that song, it's so fast, it's almost like Dark Angel levels of speed, like Darkness Descends, that era of Dark Angel, where it's that speed that's just unrelenting. Even a killer breakdown pops up on this track, which breakdowns don't really pop up a whole lot on this album, maybe a little one here and there, but it was mainly the Jackhammer was where it stood out in terms of breakdowns. And then you get into more melody territory, like more melodic territory with some of these songs, like Through a Glass Darkly. It's this somber, clean melody, and then some like guitar harmonies and acoustic guitars going on. And for the most part, this song's like a big bluesy triplet chug, but there's even some atonal melodies. But I gotta admit, this song kind of reminds me a little bit of like Dissection and Necrophobic, like that kind of like Swedish melodic blackened death metal, or melodic black metal in the case of Dissection. And I actually really like the song. Like, it's definitely one of the more unique tracks on the album, and I love it for that reason. That was one of the big standouts. Even the lead trade-offs on this track I thought were some of the best on the album. Strike from the Sky, back to the straight-up thrash, and it feels a little closer to Testament. Like, the riff writing and the riff changes feel a lot like something Alex Skolnick and Eric Peterson would do. And then, of course, killer drums, awesome bass flourish. And then Cage of Air, this one is really cool because it starts off with dark acoustics, then it fades in like blackened tremolos and blasts, and then suddenly you get this like isolated like chugs that almost remind me of Malevolent Creation a little bit, before it goes straight into like straight up blast, riffage, tremolos, double time stomps, triplet rhythms. Even some black metal moments pop up towards the end, but then The Last of My Kind, piano and strings start this one off, and it's very intense, and then of course you get some blast beat parts here and there, but the gallops that come along almost remind me of Metallica and Zentrix a little bit. Like, it's more of that like standard thrash gallop, but with a little more heft to it. And then even some borderline melodic death metal touches, like Children of Bodom, I would say. There's even a section where it gets groovy with some dissonant melodies on top, and then a big triplet chug comes and follows, gallops, and then a clean melody to end the song in the album. Now, I forgot to mention that Kevil's vocals, I've always been a fan of. Like, they are just raspy, they're unrelenting, and on here he's delivering some cool high notes. Even some blackened vocals show up on Through a Glass Darkly, which I thought was really cool. Even occasional death roars. Like, he's got a real dynamic vocal style. Production-wise, this was produced by Mark Lewis, and guitar tracking done by Jeff Loomis, which, holy crap. Production-wise, I think this is perfect. The tones are great, the mix is awesome, like you can hear the bass all throughout, nothing's overpowering anything, it's all very well balanced. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't find anything to complain about this album. So call me insane if you will. I know I am. This is going to be my first 5 out of 5 of the year. We are already at Album of the Year territory here with this album. Holy crap, I was not expecting it to be as great as it was, but here we are. If you love Warbringer, chances are you're going to love this and more. But of course, those are just my opinions. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, thank you for watching. Keep your horns high and your dreams wet.